A worm, a leaf. One devours the other. There is an exquisite divinity and celebration in this picture. Nature's celestial purpose is the creation of a rich warmth to express a golden magic. Sense it, decipher it, glory in it. Welcome to Assam or Ahom, the gateway to India's northeastern states. Sualkuchi, adjoining Assam's Guwahati city, is the face of this enchantment. Muga, amber or gold in Assamese. The wonders of this golden thread, this paradisical silk, are akin to the metal in its warm glow, in its permanence and indestructibility, in the fascination and attraction it has given rise to, spanning centuries and generations. The Muga Mekhela Chador, the traditional dress of the Assamese woman, remains an emblem that will never fade. That Muga sari as the family heirloom, that print and design that foster awe and glory for Assam's heritage and legacy. In an earlier age, Muga was reserved for royalty. Today, it is often compared to being as expensive as buying gold. Call it intrinsic to the identity of the Assamese ethos, a treasure that it boasts of and prides in. Ole Zethana visits from Denmark with his family and friends just to understand and decode its brilliance.
Muga is not found anywhere else in the world. This is a special for Assam. This is
Gold of Assam.
gold of Assam, really.
There is a world, a culture, a living and lifestyle behind this thread. The rhythmic rattle of the shuttle is Sualkuchi's biggest signature. This is Shantipur, the hub of Assam's weaving industry. From a range of craft and cottage industries in the 1930s and 40s, the factory system with the semi-automatic fly shuttle handloom is today the predominant bread earner in 3 out of every 4 households of the village. The heirloom. Perhaps the term originated here, for nowhere else is the loom as strong a symbol of life as it is here. Mahatma Gandhi, on a visit here, had remarked, "Dreams are woven into Sualkuchi's cloth." And then the shock and irony of it all. Muga, the golden thread that nurtured this industry, has all but vanished. Most here have taken to cultivating and weaving other cloths. Life still revolves around thread and texture and lacing and intertwining of fibers. But down the last 2 decades and more, the focus has shifted from the gold of Muga to the reds and browns of a lesser fabric.
এতিয়া তাৰমানে আমাৰ এই যি মুগা নোহোৱা হৈছে মুগা নোহোৱা হোৱাৰ বিনিময়ত আমাৰ তাৰমানে এতিয়া প্ৰডাকশ্যনটো কমি গৈছে মুগাৰ প্ৰডাকশ্যন কমি যোৱাৰ কাৰণে আমি মুগা সূতাটো বাদ দি দিছোঁ দি এতিয়া আমি পাটৰ কাপোৰবিলাক কৰিছোঁ এই পাটৰ কাম কৰিছোঁ ইয়াৰ লগত টচ আছে টচৰ কাম কৰোঁ আৰু মুগাৰটো কাম ইয়াত বান্ধ হৈ গৈছে
With today's glitzy showrooms spelling out a similar story, the glory days of Muga slipped through the cracks.
তেতিয়াৰ কাপোৰটো ধৰক 8-9 হাজাৰ টকাত আমাৰ ইয়াৰ পৰা বিক্ৰী হৈছিল সেই তুলনাত আজিৰ তাৰিখত সেই জোৰাটোৱে সেম জোৰাটোৱে এতিয়া 25,000 পৰা 28,000 লৈ আহিছে আৰু ডিজাইন লৈ কিছুমান 30,000 আহে 28,000 টকাকলৈ হৈ যায় গৈছে
So, the fallback. Sualkuchi in the Boko revenue circle, once a Muga rearing hub, is now more about paddy fields. For many in the village, rice cultivation has now emerged as the bread and butter of the day. Paddy may be far from what culture and tradition tell them, but at least it feeds the family.
বহুত দূৰৰ পৰা আনিব লাগে দামো বেছি এটা পইচাও নাই সেইটো কাৰণে এতিয়া আৰু বাদি দিয়া হৈছে এতিয়া আৰু কুল খেতি আনাৰস লবৰ এইগিলা কৰা যায় আৰু
আইনো মুলেৰে লিনুলাই গাখীৰ পানী কল খুৱাই তুলিলে গোপাই মোৰ জলা কথা ক'ব নাযায়
But there's hope yet. Sheer hard work and enterprise has reaped rich awards and commercial success too. Subal Rabba's son Holiram is out collecting Muga cocoons from plantations across Sualkuchi, from folks who have given up on the rearing cycle. The treasured pods he buys will yield the sheen of the golden thread post-treatment and also precious seed for next Muga cycle. Holiram comes across admirably among those who have a never say die attitude. a ready willingness to harness and make the best of the situation.
মই ভাবিছোঁ যে অকল মই বাচিলে নহ'ব, যে ওচৰৰ পাছৰৰ মানুহবিলাক তেওঁলোকৰ কাপোৰত ব্যৱস্থা হওক, কাপোৰ বনাওক, আৰু চিট বনোৱাৰ সময়ত ওচৰৰ পাছৰৰ মানুহখিনি আমি মোটামুটি মোক সময় ক্ষেত্ৰত 100জন মান মানুহ লগা হৈ যায়। তেওঁলোকে ইয়াত ধৰচোন কাম কৰি পেলাই তেওঁলোকে ল'ৰা ছোৱালী স্কুলত পঢ়াবৰ কাৰণে 2 পইচা সুবিধা হয়।
Yet, for all his determination, there is a definite counterforce that challenges him at every step. It's a huge power, the vagaries of nature. The Tokloid Tea Research Institute is the world's oldest tea weather station, hence the name. It has been the designated standard for research on weather changes in the state down the decades. Analysis of temperature and humidity changes, particularly over the last 3 decades, has revealed worrying trends. And Muga has felt the negatives hard.
Climate change is real, and we feel the pinch of climate change. Over 98 years data that we have, there is a reduction of 200 millimeter rainfall, even more than that. And subsequently, there is a rise of average minimum temperature by 1.3 degrees over 100 years last. So it leads to various implications. With the increase of climate change, the pest pressure has increased. Lot of pests which were never there in the field of tea has come out now. The minor pest has become major. One of the examples is a scale insect has come up.
The Muga Silkwork Seed Production Center in South Assam's Boko region, that comes under the Central Silk Board, is mandated to provide research and development as well as extension support for Muga sericulture in the region. The primary focus here is enabling scientific intervention in the meeting and mating of Muga butterflies. Som trees on an entire acre of land and thousands of worms being reared with passionate care yields just about 400 grams of silk. 1,000 cocoons generate about 125 grams of silk, but a single sari needs at least 1,000 grams. The numbers and the climatic challenge tell the story, and not a very happy one.
The declining of production is due to change of climate, rise of temperature and humidity. Also the rain is somewhat different like earlier days.
From Assam's Boko region, a northward shift to the much talked of natural wonders of North Assam. The wealth of natural beauty of the region, the undulating hills and brilliant skies, the blue waters of the Subanshiri river to boot, raise awe of the beauty of nature. But look closer, and all is far from well on Muga cultivation here too. The residents of Mohamardi Gully village till very recently lived almost entirely off Muga as laborers cultivating the worm and then processing from there. Its fading here has taken their lives to the brink too.
এনেকৈ তাঁত চাত বৈ কিনি চলোঁ আৰু ল'ৰা ছোৱালী স্কুলো পঠিয়াওঁ এনেকৈ কাপোৰ কানি কিনিব লাগে তাৰপৰা আকৌ কিতাপ পত্ৰ কিনিব লাগে বহি কিনিব লাগে কলম কিনিব লাগে এনেকৈ চাউল বন এনেকৈ কিনি খাওঁ আৰু তাঁত ধুত বৈ পেলাই.
For these people, it's a message that is harsh and hurting. The writing on the wall is louder and clearer than ever. They turn to the mighty Brahmaputra for hope and sustenance. For this boatman, these waters are a lifeline, as they have been for countless others who have sought their support down centuries. The Burhaluid, as the locals know the river, is among the most powerful in the world, a divinity supporting and loving on one hand and a furious monster on the other, causing widespread devastation during floods.
সেইকাৰণে মই মুগা কাম এৰি নাওতে ভাতটো খাব লাগিবতো ভাতৰ কাৰণে পেটৰ কাৰণে এনেকৈ নাৱত কাম কৰিবলগীয়া হৈছে ল'ৰা ছোৱালী আছে মোৰ সৰু ল'ৰা
Returning to the realities of Muga, Nithul Burman paints a bleak picture, one that points to Muga disappearing from Assam and soon.
कीड़ा पेड़ में ही सड़ जाता है, ये पता नहीं चलता। आपको अच्छा लगेगा कि पहले वहाँ बहुत कीड़ा मिलेगा, हमको मिलेगा 50,000 20,000 ऐसे मिलेगा, लेकिन क्या होता है बीच में जब माइकी बोलता है, माइकी निकलता है, उस समय क्या होता है सड़ जाता है कीड़ा और मुगा मिलता है 2,000 4,000 ऐसे मिलता है.
Combine Nithul Burman's fears with ill bodings of vanishing soam trees that feed the worms, and a worrying picture jumps out.
আমাৰ ইৰিগেশ্যন চিষ্টেমটো একেবাৰে নাই আৰু আপোনালোকে যে গছবোৰ দেখিছে এতিয়া এই গছবিলাক ড্ৰাই সিজন হোৱাৰ লগে লগে সব শুকাই যায় পাতবিলাক কিন্তু খৰালি কি হয় শুকাই যায় পুলিবিলাক এইটো এটা আমাৰ
কৰি পেলাই মই বহুত কষ্টৰ মাজত
Holy Ram, above all, stands for success amid adversity, victory from the jaws of defeat. And that's the theme and lesson we carry with us to Dakuakhana, North Assam, near the Arunachal border, where Muga sericulture and silkworm rearing strike a different note. Here, it takes the color of a community and cultural exercise, beyond just the individual passion and ardor of the family bread earner. The land belongs to the state, given out to the community to prosper from it. It works in cycles, and most often with the entire village involved. From the eggs laid out on the soam tree leaves, to the hatching into caterpillars about 2 millimeters in length, to thousands of them being left to climb the trees, eat voraciously, grow rapidly, as the entire village keeps guard against predators, because to them, this worm is a lifeline. These are people who understand and identify with the worm and the cocoon. These are folks who for generations have lived with its every mood and facet. The sounds and smells are indication enough to them of the value and quality of the silk it will yield. As activity intrinsic to their culture and heritage, they celebrate each turn, each wind of hope, each optimism and anticipation of a new harvest. Because for them, the Muga is the world, song and ditty is life.
এই মুগা খেতিটো আমাৰ সাধাৰণ কৃষক হিচাপে যিসকলে সচৰাচৰ কণ্টিনিউ খেতি কৰি থাকে, আমি মই বিশেষত কণ্টিনিউ কৰি থাকোঁ, নেক্সট বাই নেক্সট কৰি থাকোঁ। তাৰমানে এটা জেনেৰেশ্যন ইয়াত আছে, এইটো জেগাত আছে, নেক্সট খজুৱা ফাৰ্মত আছে, নেক্সট আকৌ আমি পকুন আনি থৈছোঁ চিৰৰ কাৰণে।
Over 4 to 5 weeks, this ravenous little leaf devourer has grown. He comes down the trees in hordes, having expanded through several modes, from 2 millimeters to as long as 3 centimeters long. He has picked up and incubated away as he secretes his cocoon. This is a community looking eagerly and desperately for solutions, a people eager to take on the darkness that threatens their trade, even with the light of their simple torch, hoping for a brighter dawn. A community and cultural event. To the economic and monetary benefits of Muga, we've returned to the story of our chief protagonist, Holiram Rabba and his family cottage industry in Sualkuchi. Automated looms here, not the cut of a bygone era. None of the poverty-stricken, making ends meet here. Today, the prosperity of Holiram's household stands out as a symbol of rewards. The pictures here speak of having won a challenge and then reaping its benefits. An ideal of sorts that somewhere or the other all of Assam aspires to. And taking off from the Rabbas, the Baruas of Gwalgaon, 3 generations of Muga cultivators who have won out of molding themselves with the times they live in. Veteran Hema Barua is a respected member of his community in Gwalgaon. His biggest aura derives from having guided the youth of the day from the springboard of tradition to an acceptance of science and technology.
ভাবিছোঁ আমাৰ যিসকল যুৱ বিজ্ঞানী, সেই বিজ্ঞানীসকলে নতুন কৌশলেৰে, নতুন পদ্ধতিৰে যাতে ঔষধ, যিখিনি ঔষধ বাগানত প্ৰয়োগ কৰা হয়, সেই ঔষধ যাতে মুগাৰ সপক্ষে থাকে, তেনেকুৱা ঔষধ উদ্ভাৱন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে আমি আহ্বান জনাইছোঁ।
Harnessing science and technology to help a rich tradition tide over difficult times. That's the central theme at the Central Muga Eri Research and Training Institute at Lahdoigarh in Jorhat.
When they are moths, during moth stage, they mate, but there is no fertilization. So it is effect of the climate change, and we get only unfertilized eggs, and we cannot supply and we cannot fulfill the demand of the farmers.
Basic, strategic and applied research to increase production and productivity of silkworms and their host plants is the focus. The center has promoted collaborative inter-institutional research programs with other institutes in the Northeast.
For every organism, there is a gene system. If we can change its genetic makeup also for adapting to high temperature, high humidity, resistance to gene, then we can incorporate resistant gene also in our Muga system.
We at Central Muga Eri Research and Training Institute is developing a molecular markers for early detection of diseases. Therefore, we can save the crops, sir.
By avoiding chemical fertilizer, we are using dhansa plant like cowpea, etc. Different type of green manure plant we are using, and other vermicompost we are using instead of chemical fertilizer.
We are identified some cooler region where we can carry out the seed crop rearing, and bring the cocoons to some other stations and to prepare the DFLs and distribute to the needy people.
The thick, virgin forests of Golaghat have been identified to set up the world's first in situ Muga conservation sanctuary. The topography and climate of the upper Doigrung region near the Assam-Nagaland border are optimal to breeding the worm. Preserving the Muga silk moth in the wake of changing climate is the complete and central focus.
इन सिटू कंजर्वेशन नेचुरल पॉपुलेशन को नेचुरल एरिया में ही डेवलप होने देना है। फ्यूचर में जब कभी भी सीड का प्रॉब्लम होते हैं तो हम पेरिफेरल जोन में जो उड़ के आएगा, गांव में जो पॉपुलेशन आएगा, उसको लेके मल्टीप्लाई करके हम लोग फिर उसको सीड प्रोवाइड करा सके स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को, फार्मर्स को।
Village Bogidhola on the outskirts of this sanctuary in Karbi Anglong has already been adopted, with the Karbi Anglong tribes of the area trained and employed for conservation and rearing activity. They will nurse the som plantations and monitor the core, buffer and peripheral zones. The moth migrating from the core zone to the peripheral zone will be multiplied in off-site conservation activity. The results are visible. A wild moth migrating from the core zone to the periphery, seen here, is an achievement and victory of sorts for the entire effort. The laws of nature, sustaining life and livelihood, hold out promise once again. The clouds of adversity grow thinner. The magnificent glory of Muga silk, its spectacular majesty, the cultural warmth that radiates from its rich texture and hue has no parallel worldwide, because beyond the brilliance felt by the eye and the hand lies the folklore of a people's tradition, one that reaches into their livelihood and well-being and embraces their way of life. That is the real essence of Muga. Therein lies the real mysticism and enchantment of Muga that Assam exults in.